What's up, the squad? Back with another video. I seen that thought I was going down. Make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button for me, please. Y'all see it right here. You got President Trump. Most of y'all know, some good things happening. Says several hundred Chinese youth and military band just gave President Trump a grand welcome, as he arrived in Beijing. I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all, most of y'all know. Check it out right here. So he got a strong welcoming, as y'all see. And it's all of that's one thing, you have so many people talking about this, and I'm gonna show y'all something. But you have so many people talking about this and having a problem with a lot of things, and I'm gonna tell y'all, obviously, and show y'all what Hakeem Jeffries said. But my thing is the way that President Trump is moving up, no glazing, he's moving very smart. He's moving very smart. I'm telling y'all. As President Trump stuns the world by getting, let me go back. Let me take this. That's flashing my eyes. Basically getting the support, their president buying more oil from America to reduce China's dependence on us strait in the future, and saying that it's obviously, a big takeaway.
Xi expressed interest in purchasing more American oil to reduce China's dependence on the strait in the future. That's a really big takeaway. So we're going to focus on that as well. Also, both countries agree that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. And after reading through this readout, there was really nothing in there that said that China was going to help pressure Iran in any way to ending the conflict. We were wondering if that was going to come up. It has been an incredibly busy
So the thing is, and what I love about this is the simple fact that I've said this time and time again, that it's one of those things to be patient. Be patient, let President Trump do what he do, and I feel like things will definitely get better with the moves that he's making. It's just one of those things of honestly just trusting the process. You got Hakeem Jeffries here, and of course, he always has something to say. He always will say something like he's in charge of something and somebody. But it says Trump's in Beijing locking in massive wins, literally forcing them to back off Iran and bringing home deals for American companies, while they're saying that Hakeem Jeffries obviously is crying and saying, and again, I truly do not get this. I truly don't get this. But the things that he says about President Trump and the things, and it obviously it's nothing that's shocking, it's nothing that's surprising. But I don't, and I've talked about this yesterday. I talked about this. I posted the 5, and I talked about just how it's so crazy that is the only thing that they can do is speak in these terms. The best thing for them to, if they want to work, if they want to do things right, is to possibly, instead of bash Trump, say, oh, this is the worst that we've ever had, and he's doing this and he's out of control and doing. Find something that's best for your party. That's it, and that's all. And he's not doing that clearly in this video. Check it out.
What's your reaction to how America was being represented by Donald Trump in China?
Donald Trump went overseas to China and embarrassed the country, as always. It's unfortunate, but it's extraordinary to me that you had an American president go over to China and bend the knee to the Chinese Communist Party. It's because Donald Trump has put America in a position of weakness, including but not limited to by.
I'm confused on how you put how is it showing any type of weakness? Now is he showing weakness? But then again, my thing is, even if I don't care what nobody say, and that's why I feel like so many people got it wrong when it comes to President Trump. Because even if people are in your party and they say something or they do this, it's best to call it out, regardless of the situation, regardless of anything. They don't do that in their party, and that's what gets frustrating. They don't take that accountability. You literally got Hakeem here saying that he's making the United States look weak, but again, What did the Biden administration do? I'm telling y'all, within the Biden administration, and of course, I know for a fact, if Kamala would have won president, I'm telling y'all, he talking about weak now.
This reckless war of choice that has actually resulted in Iran being stronger today than they were before the United States of America went in, as a direct result of the strategic mishaps, the stumbling, fumbling, and bumbling of this corrosive, toxic, incompetent Trump administration.
They want to be Obama so bad, bro.
Of course, including the so-called Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. And so Donald Trump went over to China with a weak hand. And as a result of it, I think America is not going to benefit in any way from the bilateral summit that took place over in China. God help us all when it comes out what Donald Trump gave away to the leader of the Chinese Communist Party because of how weak Donald Trump has been as president of the United States of America.
How? I'm just confused on like how, like what is it? I feel like you gotta just not like somebody that much to sit there and just say a whole bunch of nothing. Just calling them weak, not really saying why, but calling them weak. Because honestly, again, like it stated, Trump secured a massive China trade. Says wins for American workers, businesses, families. But he's saying that President Trump is weak, but he's making moves, obviously, that the last administration didn't. Check it out, Fox News.
Oh, there's no question here, Charlie, that the United States and Donald Trump were the big winner here, and nobody should be too surprised about that. No one knows the art of the deal better than Donald J. Trump. And so, by the way, we do not know all of the aspects of what was agreed to behind those 3 days of closed-door meetings. But everything that has been publicized so far indicates tens of billions of dollars of additional purchases by China of U.S. Manufactured goods, of our technology goods, you mentioned our oil and our agriculture. So that is good for American workers, American farmers. But one thing that's really important is that you cannot trust China. I mean, remember, it was like with Reagan when he used to negotiate with the
But I feel like that's what so many people don't get as well. Is
Soviet Union. It was trust but verify.
The
I mean, the Chinese will say anything in terms of shake hand deal, but you have to make sure that they follow through with this. But it was a very important meeting for the American economy, and Trump is the winner here, and so is the.
But you can't say in the same sentence that Trump is a real winner, and there's nothing towards him, but you just can't say that in the same. Like, you can't be like, oh yeah, Trump is the winner in this situation, but you also can't trust China, and you can't trust me. I know for a fact that President Trump knows what he's doing. We've seen too many encounters with different situations and different individuals of President Trump. Is one of those things that keep your enemies closer. And I feel like that's obviously one of those things that you always do, and it's just real. Like, people gotta look at the simple fact of just trusting that process. And a lot of y'all already know that President Trump is definitely watching. Check it out right here, President Trump.
So we had a great stay. It was an amazing period of time. President Xi's an incredible guy. Got along, made a lot of great trade deals, including over 200 planes from Boeing with a promise of 750 planes, which will be by far the largest order ever if they do a good job with the 200, which I'm sure they will. And that's General Electric also, the engines. So they're buying General Electric. So it's approximately 450 engines, 200 planes, and a promise of up to 750 if they do a good job. We had an amazing time. It was a very historic.
So as y'all know, President Trump is definitely making moves. Says announcing a massive deal for Boeing, General Electric that includes hundreds of aircraft engines. So regardless, it's moves, that obviously, President Trump made, and moves that I know for a fact will definitely help in the long run when it comes down to it. This video right here, just in general, I had to play because it's one of those things that you don't have a president that is going to just sugarcoat things. President Trump, he obviously ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing. He's definitely real, and I definitely love that when it comes down to it. Check it out right here.
And she asked me a question.
Yeah.
She's talked about China and this and that they steal this and they steal that. And I said, yeah, we do it to them too. They spy on us. I said, we spy on them too, I guess, So some people thought that was cute. Other people said, you don't have to say that. I said, I sort of do. No, we do things and they do things, and that's the way it is. Now, with that being said, I spoke to him very strongly about that, and I'd like to see it taken care of. But they've been doing that for 50 years.
Will we see a change? In other words, will there be an improvement with trade?
Fentanyl is way down. And
so y'all see it right here. Ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing, and that's absolutely what I love. I absolutely love that. That you have somebody that's not. I've been telling y'all from the get go, and that's why I feel like I've learned to support them, and I've learned to understand why people supported them years ago. Getting into these videos, y'all remember. I've told y'all that. Obviously I grew up. With a family of Democrats, and going into these videos and stuff like that, and just being obviously, independent, and just learning and seeing, the things that's going on. I've learned, seeing from the Biden administration, obviously he wasn't doing much, but you just seeing different things, and I just seen that he wasn't sugarcoating nothing. I feel like so many people confused with President Trump being real and straightforward and disrespect. And that's what I be confused about. I'd rather have somebody that will be, have a president that obviously is gonna be real, gonna let this is good, this is bad, I don't like, rather than having a president that's not gonna do nothing. And I feel like so many people don't understand that. Check it out right here, Jesse Waters, Fox News.
This is not an equal thing. China and the United States, we have a lot more nukes, we have a lot more carriers. We just beat them to the moon. We just kicked them out of the Panama Canal. And we just wiped out 2 of their black market gas stations and showed that we can, if we want to, embargo them if they get frisky with Taiwan, because we control the straits in the South China Sea and in the Middle East. And while we've been in Iran, we've been doing war games with all of our Pacific allies. And we sold $11 billion in weapons to Taiwan. And we have another $25 billion arms package waiting on the president's desk. He doesn't want to sign it there. It's too humiliating for the Chinese, so he'll wait. China is still our #1 trade partner, though. So there are going to be big business deals announced with Boeing and agriculture. The problem is the chips we make need their minerals. So we're on a little bit of a smash and grab mineral run all over the world, which has been fun to watch. We still have about a 50% tariff rate on the Chinese, but Trump has cultivated a very good relationship with Xi Jinping over the last 8 or so years. Doesn't mean he's not going to hit him with charges against hacking and spying and dumping. Greg, they love to dumping goods all over the world because their consumers don't buy. And the quarantine, along with our chip controls, are really starting to show cracks in the Chinese economy. So the test is, how long is China willing to wait until they call the gay Ayatollah and say, you got to open up the strait? I think she's watching Trump. How long is Trump willing to maintain the blockade on Iran? So right now, it's a test of wills, and I think the president is in a good place.
Me too. And that's why I feel like so many people are missing. As y'all see, Jessica didn't say anything because she can't. I'm telling y'all, she absolutely can. You have it right here. You got more from the 5. You got Greg Gutfield wrapping everything up and making a lot of sense when it comes down to a lot of things that's going down, within Trump, within China, within the left. Check it out.
Definitely a New York thing. That's the beauty of this.
Yeah.
He's a contractor for Queens, but I think we're missing the real story here, and it's tall Asians. I mean, next you're going to tell me he's a good driver, right? I mean, they don't play golf, do they?
Some of yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Japanese
Football players.
It's Chinese.
The South Koreans.
Okay. Anyway, Trump, the reason why I bring that up, and this is a callback to the A block, Jessica, so put your debate pants back on.
She's happy to go there.
Trump is a pattern recognition machine. Wow, this Chinese fella is tall. Most Chinese fellas aren't. And that is an evolutionary trait. You recognize patterns and it helps you do what? Predict outcomes. That's why people who can see around corners and you can't is because they look at patterns and figure it out. Democrats, Jessica, have pioneered the anti-pattern recognition machine. Oh, wait, there's a pattern of violent illegals committing murders in the United States. There's a pattern of men in wigs invading safe spaces. There's a pattern of rhetoric-fueled violence coming from the left. There's a pattern of conservatives being targeted, but never leftists being targeted for violence. There's a pattern of wealthy industries leaving states that are punishing the wealthy. So we see those patterns. Democrats see those patterns, and they tell us it's racist to see those patterns. You cannot look at reality the way we look at it. He just happens to have his pattern recognition machine on all the time. So even when he's looking at that reporter, he doesn't see that reporter's specific question. He sees it as part of a pattern of left-wing bias that is meant to undermine, the things that happens. And he's been burned so many times. I just want to make another point. There's a lot of good stuff I'm sure happened here, the fentanyl stuff, industry, AI, whatever you want to call it. Did we forget COVID? This is it wasn't 50 years ago. It was 5 years ago. And it killed 1 million Americans. It did damage to our education system, our psyche, and it's ongoing. Did we just decide that we're not going to talk about it?
It seems like a secret.
So one thing about this and one thing that I absolutely love and appreciate is that you literally have Greg Gutfeld that's gonna call it out. You got somebody that's obviously gonna call it out, and that's one thing that I love. When it comes down to it, I'm not gonna say everybody, but when it comes to, Greg Gutfeld, I got the hiccups. Greg Gutfeld, Jesse Waters, make a lot of sense for what they're saying. I know a lot of y'all don't like hearing Jessica's voice, so I ain't do it to it. I ain't do it to y'all today. But I'm telling y'all, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. Definitely appreciate y'all. Much love to every single last one of y'all. Stay tuned for the next one.